Let's check in with White Knuckle, another game that we said was going to be successful. Let's see how they're doing. Man, this blew up. Overwhelmingly positive at 98%. I'm really happy the no save didn't bite them in the butt harder. Damn, Daniel. They deserve it. They deserve it. Option to save, right? If any of these guys got extremely triggered or had a sick run and then had to go, these positives could easily be negatives. Like, oh, until they add save, right? These are all gambles, right? These are all gambles. These are gambas. Love to see it. Love to see it. Unique games that stand out. All these games want to be this guy, right? Oh my God, 1,000 reviews. They all want to be this guy. But they don't want to go through the path that these guys went through, right? They want to play it safe, sit on the bleachers, but be the star of the team. Let that sink in for a second. Let that sink in. We all want to be successful. We all want to be the next Slay the Spire, Vampire Survivors. But we want to play it safe. We want to just copy a successful game. We want to sit on the bleachers, but we're expecting to be the star of the show. What's wrong with this, right? But then when we see the people that are taking the risks, that are making something really good, but also new, something we haven't tasted before, and we blow up, right? And then we want to be like them. Well, you're waiting for those people to blow up, and then you're just trying to follow in their footsteps, right? It's very different than learning this skill set to make something good. Very nice. Very nice. Do I think the game also still needs some deeper work on the deeper layer? Of course. That's another question. It doesn't keep the game from being phenomenal, but I hope they have the powerful conversations, because the game needs some help to be one of the GOATs, I would say. It needs that icing. It needs the icing. At least their cake is good. The water rises too fast. It actually rises slow as hell, but there's probably mechanics they're missing, and the game might not help this player understand. But because a turret shot you a few times right at the end and having to restart everything is just not fun. There's always way too few upgrades to get in a run. They might not also understand that there's a save system at all. There's way too few upgrades to get in a run. That I kind of agree with. They're like there, but you get like 2 in a run and it feels like it's just thrown in. Especially if you get unlucky and only find temporary ones. Also true. I think that's really weird how you can get like the God mode perk, but then you can also get like a perk that you don't even keep and it does nothing. It's just very insane to me. It's like getting a rocket launcher that's also a machine gun, right? Like what? It's really sad that it's absurd jump in difficulty. Just died 3 times in a row in the first turret encounter. I don't get this. Died 3 times in a row in the first turret encounter. This is like at the end of the game. Kind of, right? Like, what? They're talking like they can't make it out of the beginning of the game, but they're like at the end of the game. Like, what's wrong? Not the first and not the last time. Every time they do it. Like, what? You keep making it to the turrets. We also don't know if they're using controller. Yeah, that would jade the experience. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. And I even said while playing controller, they need to change the rules of the players using the controller. They do leaderboards and stuff, so it's weird to do that, unfortunately, but if they haven't beaten the game, I haven't beaten the game. I keep getting pissed off. Neat concept, but still very much early access. Defeats the whole blank purpose of climbing if ledges don't register for your hands. It's interesting because this game cheats in every possible way to help you grab something. So I wonder what happened to this person. Beat the game. I was right. Very little content. Would not recommend until there's more of an hour of content to the game. What the hell? Wait, you have a... Oh, I thought it said 100 hours. You played for 10 hours. I had a lot of fun in the game's demo, but the newest EA update honestly drove me off. What up, Shim? It's one of those things having mass coming after you. Hybridation. Just not fun climbing in a dark environment. A lot of people have problems with that monster. I also think that that whole monster segment and that area are very poorly designed to begin with, so I get the frustration points. An hour of content played for 10 hours. Yeah, it's always my favorite. Full of BS. Heavily... One of the roguelikes that heavily punishes the player for not having meta knowledge about said thing that shows up later, of rarely, if at all, introduces later on to major players. And this view of the game, layers, the game comes from knockback from throwing items. That is not true at all. What happened? And blood bugs that are designed to knock you off your death ending your run. But I don't know if the devs played like chronically large amounts of Quake PvP. What the hell is happening? Throw an object below me to get an air boost. So it's interesting. So these guys are missing something to the point where they must have saw some video and saw somebody like boost jumping and thinking they have to do that, which is odd. If another thing to punish me using rebar spear, I would love to see this person play to understand what they're missing. I would love to see a run from this person. Honestly, not in a derogatory way. Like honestly, I would love to watch a run of this player. I think it would be so informal. It's so formal. So informational. Informal? No, that's not it. Informative. It would be so informative. Make me fly off ledges. It's also annoying that you design enemies to both have enough HP to be steadily tedious. Enough HP? What the hell is this guy's... So this guy, you could see here. Chat, this is actually really interesting. This is really interesting. Why is this interesting? It's because we made a pillar for this. We made a pillar for this, and I'm going to describe this to you guys right now. Developers, if you don't learn proper tutorialization, now I want to start with it that it's not your fault why you're bad at tutorialization. Your circles, the market, and everyone around you has terrible, terrible tutorialization. So I will give you credit and say that it's not your fault. If everyone around you is doing something to you, that almost seems like normal, right? It seems like the benchmark. But if you found out that we are all doing tutorialization so horrible, and you unlocked that part through conversation, and you saw that for yourself, you would realize, wow, what the hell have we been doing? That being said, there is a game doctor pillar that we've been talking about because we've really been studying tutorialization for the last year, that we are so far off. And what happens is, if you do tutorialization poorly, what you do is you create this huge variance in players. Huge variance. And I'm going to go ahead and explain this to you. A huge variance. So the idea is, when we don't properly tutorialize and help our player understand how they should be playing, it creates room to play many, many different ways. Now, to talk about this example, I'm going to explain it in a way of a very popular game, so that way it's just easy to follow. If I use a popular example, if I use something niche, you're not going to understand and be able to follow. Let's talk about Slay the Spire. I love it because everyone knows it and it's a great game. Slay the Spire, when you jump into that game, you're going to have wildly different experiences. Why? Because the game leaves it open to that. The game never teaches you how to deck build, ever. And it's a deck builder. It's actually a very methodical, heavy deck builder, where like every draft as you climb or whatever matters. Anyway, we'll talk about the base difficulty. It doesn't help you at all, right? You jump into it and they'll be like, oh, you want to play mana. This is how you play your card, and go ahead, right? Then play blocks and defense. This is the intent system. Nowhere in that does it teach you how to deck build, or even a basic concept of deck building, right? So what happens is you're going to have huge variance. You're going to have variance like this example here that we're talking about, and why I'm talking about this. We create this. At least we don't help it, right? And there's never an end goal, but we can get better at it, right? So what happens is, if you come in and you have deck building experience, you're going to be way on this end of the spectrum, right? Because you have deck building experience, you're familiar, you know the concepts, so you're going to have a certain experience naturally, right? Now imagine someone like me coming in and I knew nothing about deck building. I didn't know. I thought deck building was just picking rare cards and, you know, that's it. Like I didn't know. My learning process was live, hundreds and hundreds of hours learning because of my chat. So they've been through this with me, and I'm not just making this up. On the other end of the spectrum, it could be insanely hard. What is this game? Even difficulty 0, Ascension 0, I just didn't understand concepts, so it was really challenging, and I was on this end of the spectrum. So why do you think our reviews end up like that? right? Our reviews are wide open. There's people saying this game is way too easy. What is going on here? And there's people saying the game is way too hard. And when devs hear this, what do? They panic, right? We got to make this harder, or we got to make the base game harder or easier, and we got to do this. Oh no, oh my God, we must have not saw this, right? And well, what happens is we create that where we're trying to cater to all of this because we don't help the player have a more formal experience, right? Like a more synergized experience because we're leaving them so open and we're not tutorializing. We just tell players buttons, right? It's not like your IKEA bed is kind of like tutorializing you to help you understand the concepts and stuff like that. They're just giving you directions. And that's what we do. We give directions. We don't tutorialize. Here's what you do. Do this, right? It's like Homer Simpson in the nuclear factory, right? If you just bring him in and just say, hey, when this light goes off, hit this button, and that's it. Well, that's all we know. We told this a direction. When this light goes off, hit this button, and that's what we're prepared for. But we don't understand anything. Should a wrench in the system happen, or something weird happen, or the lights start working, or a steam valve blows and there's air coming out, or some faulty system or something else that needs help, we don't understand anything. So we're just, all right, because we don't understand. We just know a direction, and that's what we do on today's market. So you can see here that this is the same experience. To plug it back into what we're going through, this is a game like Knuckle, but you could see that this review, and again, not being derogatory towards this player, they're way off. Way off. But now, do I blame them? I don't. Because if they don't play a lot of games or have the understanding to understand how to play this game, we don't help players understand how to think about our game or what they should be doing. Because you can see here that this player is also going around and beating up all the monsters enough to notice that they have a lot of HP, which I've never even noticed. Right? Or I've never even seen someone take more than like 2 hits, and there's barely any enemies to even fight, right? But you can see that their experience might be, I have to kill the bad guy. They don't know, right? To them, maybe other games have taught them, just kill the bad guy. So that seems intuitive to them. So if they're having a wildly different experience and the game seems very poorly designed, well, we're not exactly helping that either, right? We're not getting them started to understand the rule set here. Right? So this is really interesting, and I just want to showcase how this happens. We create that doorway, but we'll happily make fun of these different reviews or clown them, or I can't believe these guys are giving us a negative review, blah, blah, blah. But we also almost ask for that. So when you look into like more powerful conversation, you take responsibility for things like this, that means you can also prevent it. So that's what this conversation is about, is proper tutorialization, not giving directions.